Hey guys, it's Jerome and I'm back again today with another video, and today I want to talk to you about the real cost of an MBA. Now, if you didn't already know, MBA tuition prices have been going way up for years now, with the most prestigious Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania costing almost $82,000 a year. Unfortunately, that's not the full picture because that cost doesn't include things like living expenses, fees, books, anything like that. It's just strictly tuition. Now, most universities will advertise a total cost of attendance number, and that's probably the number you want to pay attention to if you want to include your cost of living, fees, supplies, books, anything like that. And as of 2018, there are 9 universities, probably more now, that have a total cost of attendance of over $200,000 over those 2 years. Now, is that even worth it? Well, if you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel, we can talk about that in a later video, but for now, I wanted to show you some of the hidden costs that they don't advertise that you might want to consider if you're thinking about going back and getting your MBA. Since I'm going to the University of North Carolina this fall, we're going to use them as an example for this video. So if you look at UNC's total cost of attendance online, it'll show you that they have an out-of-state tuition of about $67,000 a year. Then they estimate your total housing cost to be about $14,000 a year, another $5,000 for food, $1,000 for books, $1,500 for travel, $2,000 for miscellaneous expenses, and another $2,600 for their student health insurance program. When you add all that up, you get a total one-year cost of $92,616. Now, UNC also has a disclaimer on their website that says for the second year, they expect costs to go up about 3%. So I went ahead and just added 3% to all of the costs that we had for the first year to get a total program cost of $188,010.48. Actually, I need that. Pick those up real quick. First, we'll start with the tuition. You might end up getting some sort of scholarship, but for the purpose of this, I wanted to get a total cost, so I left the scholarships out. Next, we're going to talk about housing. Now, in this section, I've assumed that we're going to be living in Durham as opposed to Chapel Hill because from the research that I've done, it seems like Durham's going to be a little bit cheaper than Chapel Hill. I've also made the assumption that we're going to be living in a 2-bedroom apartment as opposed to a 1-bedroom. Now, the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in Durham is about $1,400, so that's what I've done for the monthly cost here, which gives a yearly total of about $17,000, which was a little bit more expensive than what UNC had estimated originally. And for all of you that already live in an apartment currently, you know that you have to typically pay a security deposit, which is usually about 1 month's rent, so I've added that in as well. Next, let's talk about utilities and internet. So for the cost of utilities, I went ahead and took the average cost of utilities in Durham for a 2-bedroom apartment, and that's going to be about $120 a month. And I did the same for internet, and that's going to be about $60 a month. Next, for groceries, I've taken the suggested monthly budget for food from mint.com, which is going to be about $553 a month for 2 people. So if you are a single person, you can divide that cost by half. Next, we're going to add in the price of books and supplies because we all know that college students definitely do not download their books illegally, and we all pay full price for them. Now, the next category that UNC has on their estimate is just labeled graduate travel, and it's about $1,500 a year. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I do know that as a part of the program, they do have several trips that they take to either New York or LA to take their students and meet some industry people. So I'm going to assume that that's what the travel refers to and not necessarily your daily car maintenance costs and gas and things like that. So we're going to include that graduate travel as its own separate cost. Next, we're going to go ahead and assume that you have a car payment you're currently paying on. I took the national average that an American pays on their car per month, which is about $390, and added that into our spreadsheet. I then went and found the average amount that a 24-year-old spends on car insurance, which is about $72 a month, and added that in as well. Then we add in the average amount that people spend on gas, which is about $1,300 a year, as well as car maintenance, which is about another $1,200 a year. Then we're going to add back $1,900 for those miscellaneous expenses. Now, these are probably going to be small reoccurring charges that you have every month, something like Netflix or Spotify or Amazon Prime that's so small that you don't really think about it. We're just gonna group those all together. For health insurance, if you're gonna go with UNC's health insurance plan, they're gonna charge you $2,600 a year. But when I looked at the national average for someone that's 24 years old, it said it was gonna be closer to about $2,400. So I decided to go with $2,400 and added that into our spreadsheet. Finally, we're gonna add about $250 for loan fees, which gets us to a total 1-year cost of $108,830.39. Just like before, we're gonna go ahead and assume that most of these costs are gonna go up by about 3% for the second year. Now this brings us to a total cost of attendance of $220,925.69. Now this still isn't the real cost of your MBA because of something called opportunity cost. For those of you that don't know what opportunity cost is, this is basically the cost of choosing one option over another, but more simply, in this scenario, we can think of it as lost wages or lost income. So let me give you just a quick example. Let's say that you have a part-time job and you make about $10 an hour and you have a 8-hour shift scheduled to come up. Let's also say that on the same day that you're scheduled to work, your friend calls you and says, hey, let's go to the movies instead. So you decide that you're gonna go to the movies. So you call out of work and you go to the movies and you guys buy a ticket for say $10. You spend $10 to get a movie ticket and you have a good time and you go home. Now, what is the cost of that movie ticket? It's not just $10 because if you think about it, if you had chosen to go to work and not gone to the movies, you would have made $80, but instead you chose to lose $80 and to spend an additional $10 to buy the movie ticket. So the real cost of going to that movie was $90. The $80 that you could have made if you'd gone to work, plus the $10 that you actually spent. So let's take that concept and add it into the cost of our MBA. In this case, we've already considered the actual cost, the physical amount of money that you're going to spend. So really, we just need to calculate the opportunity cost or the lost income from you deciding to not work for 2 whole years and instead go to school. So in order to do this, I still wanted to keep it in terms of an electrical engineer. So I looked up what the average salary of an electrical engineer in Kingsport, Tennessee is, and that comes out to about $62,000 a year. Now, in addition to your salary, you may be getting some sort of bonus, so I decided to include that as well. And the average bonus for an electrical engineer here in Kingsport, Tennessee is going to be about $1,300 a year. Lastly, most companies are going to give you some sort of 401k matching, so I decided to include that as well as part of our opportunity cost. And here the average is about $2,600 a year. When we add all those numbers up, we get a total opportunity cost of about $66,000 a year for the average electrical engineer in Kingsport, Tennessee. Now let's assume that the second year you're gonna go ahead and get some sort of raise, and just to keep things consistent across the board, let's say that that raise is 3%. When you add up how much your opportunity cost of year 1 was with the opportunity cost of year 2, you get a total opportunity cost of $134,053.08. We can then add our actual costs that we calculated before with the total opportunity cost that we just now finished calculating, and we see that the total real cost to get this MBA is going to be $354,978.77. That's a pretty big difference from UNC's original estimate. It's almost double what they had said. Now, I know this is not cheap by any means, and most people probably wouldn't even consider going back and getting their MBA at that price, but you really do have to think of this as an investment in yourself. What you have to consider is that students that get their MBA end up increasing their salary on average by 50%. After you adjust for taxes, you're left with about $29,000 for you to do whatever you want with. So like I said, it really is an investment in yourself, but please do the math for yourself. Consider your own scenarios and try to figure out if it's worth it for you. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll answer all of them. And if you made it this far in the video, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.